Stay tuned for Art Zone, coming to you from the not yet gentrified neighborhood of Georgetown.
Hello, hello.
Hit it, hit it.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Nancy Guppy, and this week we are in Georgetown, a charming enclave of artists and unique businesses, like this place here, Fran's Chocolates. That's right, I am standing in their newest retail store and production line in the Old Rainier Brewery, and we're going to tour and taste right after I tease the show. Studio E turns yellow. Tariqa Waters serves up Martyr Sauce.
I see myself breaking all the rules in the Seattle art scene. And I love it.
Homegrown threads from Prairie Underground. And 2 notes from Cracker Factory.
2 notes, and these are them. Sing them over and over again.
All right, back to the important stuff. Chocolate! And I'm here in the inner sanctum, also known as Hairnet Land, where the magic happens. And the maestro behind the magic, here she is, Miss Fran Bigelow. Hi, Fran.
Hello,
It's
Nancy,
so good to see
welcome.
you. I love being here, even with the hairnet.
Okay,
And I want to mention 2 members of your dream team. You got a great team here, but 2 members in particular, and they are Andrina.
yes,
She's the CEO.
she's the CEO. She's my daughter.
Yes,
and Dylan.
Dylan is the chief chocolatier.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a family affair, and it's been great.
Now, since 1982, that's when you started,
Uh-huh.
and now I think there's about 25 maybe items on the menu. What was the first chocolate you ever made?
It was the pure dark chocolate truffle, and it was cocoa dusted and rolled in cocoa. And then we realized that people kept returning for that particular chocolate.
Yep.
And so we learned to dip it so it had a little longer shelf life, and went from there. And it's been fabulous.
Phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. It is.
One of your items I'm particularly fond of is the salted caramel.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some big fans, i.e. President Obama, I believe. You shipped them to him, right?
Yes.
How did you come up with that exact correct dusting of salt? Because it's just right. It's just right.
Thank you.
It is.
Thank
It's just right.
you.
Yeah.
It's just we were trying to set it apart from the other caramels, and we looked for the garnish on top. And
Yeah.
once we put it in our mouth, we went, "Oh my gosh! This just opens up the flavor, opens up your mouth," and we just went for it.
Yeah,
from
it
there.
really does, and you wouldn't necessarily put it together. Of course, now everyone's copied it since then, but it is so good.
Oh, thank you.
It's
Thank
so
you.
good.
We love it.
Now, when people come into your store, because it's such a gorgeous building, it's a very nice feeling. It's a very nice vibe. So what is the experience you want your customer to have once they walk into this beautiful space?
We want them to really enjoy chocolate and understand that that's what we're all about. When I walked in a chocolate shop years ago in Paris, it was like 1970. The smell and the magic and the taste, and it was chocolate like I hadn't had in the United States. And I went back and said, I'm going to learn more about chocolate and the chocolate taste, and been trying to recreate that feeling and that kind of magic.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what's your enthusiasm for this job 30 plus years in?
I guess I'd have to say it's a 10. I can't believe that the years have flown by, that I've done this, that I've stayed interested. The chocolate continually improves. We're searching for new chocolates. They're learning so much about chocolate now, and how to bring out the flavor in chocolate. It's just blossomed.
Well, thank you so much for letting us come into your beautiful shop. It smells quite incredible in here. So while I do a little bit of quality control,
Okay.
I want you to take a look at this other visionary artist. Where should I start? Maybe over this one?
I see myself breaking all the rules in the Seattle art scene. And I love it. The new exhibit that I'm working on is called 100% Kanekalon, the untold story of the marginalized matriarch. And it's addressing a lot, but there is a certain secrecy and quietness to how, especially I grew up and what I saw with women around the way and in our neighborhoods and how we represent and carry ourselves and attitude behind that. And women in a lot of different scenarios get stereotyped and looked at in a particular way. And it's more in response to pop culture and what is getting appropriated and taken away from, what it is to be Black and people thinking that they know or have a handle on it. It's like, no, you don't know. And it's not all for you to know. But if I'm giving you a little bit of it, you're welcome. So what is Kanekalon? It is printed on the front of braiding hair. We always had to make sure we had the right product if we were gonna put it in our hair. And we always would look for this 100% Kanekalon. So that's what this exhibit is, how we get down looking for that right product. For some of the prep work for my upcoming exhibit, I actually went back to Richmond, Virginia to do some photography and also go through old family photographs. So yeah, I was born in Richmond. My mom raised just me and my sister, so it was just the three of us growing up. My father really wasn't in the picture that much, so my uncles were a big part of my life. My uncles were artists, painters, and so paintings were all over the place, and I was just surrounded by it. And when we spent time over my grandmother's house, she didn't have cable, so after Green Acres reruns would end, we'd had nothing else to do but, find some paper lying around and start sketching. When I first started painting, I started working with acrylic paints, and it was drying way too fast. I just had my son, and I couldn't do what I needed to do with the paintings, and so I switched to oil. I had more drying time, so that kind of worked to my advantage. And I have this affection for large-scale pieces, so everything had to be 5 feet or bigger. When we moved to Seattle, we converted our street-level entrance and stairway up to our home into a creative space, Martyr Sauce, which I call my renegade gallery. My husband and I had a lot of fun unbranding a brand. We did that by creating a product. We had fun with the word Martyr Sauce. We used empty bottles and put all of the signage and the artwork that surrounded Martyr Sauce pop art on the bottles. And in the end, we morphed into a community gallery that happens to be in the middle of Pioneer Square Art Walk. I switched over from painting and large-scale painting to photography because when I started Martyr Sauce, I didn't have nearly as much time as I initially thought to paint. And that's kind of why I started Martyr Sauce. I thought that, this is gonna be fantastic. I'll start Martyr Sauce and show other artists in the community and be able to work on my art at the same time. And that quickly became not the reality at all. So I just kind of ran with that whole Martyr Sauce pop art aesthetic. So in Feast, I'm working on a small piece for Feast that is going to kind of point to the exhibit in June. Right now I'm getting the audio together. Some of the conversations are going to be, you're not going to be able to make out what anybody's really saying. It's too pretentious. Yeah, it's like, it is not that serious. Or, fine, but there is a juxtaposition to that where it's not. And why isn't that being? The point for me, I think, is just to shed light on. My mother was a single mother raising 2 children. When I had my kids, I was young, and you kind of make the same choices with what you didn't have as a father figure growing up. I saw a lot of pain for my mom and what she had to do in order to make ends meet for 2 girls. As far as this piece in particular, the kitchen table kind of demonstrates all of that. What did you ask me again?
Tariqa's new show, 100% Kanekalon, opens at the Northwest African American Museum on June 4th and runs through October 16th. If you've ever been to Georgetown, you know the opportunities to see original art are everywhere. But just off the beaten path, there is a new gallery owned and operated by Donna Holloway and Brian Beck. I dropped in a few days ago to find out what possessed Donna to create Studio E.
It was sort of spontaneous. Brian had finished construction of the building, but we didn't yet have occupancy.
You guys built this thing.
Yeah, we actually built the building.
Yeah.
I used to work as an electrician, so of course I did all the wiring,
Yeah.
and Brian did all of the construction, ourselves. And typically we have participated in Georgetown Garden and Art Walk. So a few days before, it dawned on us that we had this beautiful empty space, so we decided to use this space to have that art show.
And it took you how many days to pull it together?
I think we called our friend John Dove, asked him to show up with his sculptures, and then threw the show together in about a day and a half.
So it was John, it was you and Brian, your husband's work.
So it was a 3-person show.
And then what was the moment when you said, this is an actual gallery?
We were sort of scrambling to put it together.
Yeah.
We lit it, hung everything, went to the front, turned around and looked, and then it was like, oh my God, this looks just like a gallery.
And now
it is.
It's almost 2 years later.
Yep.
Yeah. So from that point on, how now do you choose your artists? What are you looking for in the people that show here?
We look for 2 things, art that we love, of course, and artists that we love to work with. So initially when we started, we didn't know that we were going to continue to do this. Originally we were just going to have one show.
Yeah.
And then we thought, oh, this is great, why not continue doing this until we have completed construction and we have occupancy of the building. So then each month it was a little bit of a fire drill for our artist friends where we'd invite, like, hey, would you like to have a show? I think our second show was John Rosado, and he had two bodies of work left over from 2 different exhibits, and they fit perfectly really in our space. So we called that One Artist, 2 Shows.
The show that's up now called Yellow, does that title refer to anything in particular?
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed the exterior of the building on the way in.
It is yellow.
It's
Therefore. Yeah.
So we wanted to have a celebration of having been open we originally would have been 2 years, but we've been booked for those months. So we're doing this random 18-month birthday celebration.
And this is a group show.
So this is a group show with 6 artists that we have either had solo exhibits with in the past and plan to again, and some that have not yet had a solo show but will in the coming year.
And there's that one woman, where's she from?
Helen?
Her painting is blue.
Oh yeah, that's Helen O'Leary. She's getting a lot of attention right now.
Yeah.
She has exhibits up all over Europe and the United States. Her piece for this group show showed up today.
And I want to point out too that we are above the gallery this is like a workshop, an art workspace. And Brian does a lot of his creations here. What is Brian kind of known for? What does he do?
Well, Brian has worked in a lot of different mediums in the past, but at a certain point, I think he acquired some wooden planes that were his grandfather's and got curious about just sort of restoring them, and then in the process of restoring them, got curious about how they worked.
And I love the log cabin he put together.
Oh yeah.
He made. How to do something with no nails. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, he saw a book at Art Books Press in Ballard that had a bunch of traditional Finnish and Swedish cabins, and started exploring and found a place in Sweden that teaches traditional cabin building. So he went there and took the class, and then came home and he built that cabin, and then we had an exhibit with it in the gallery last summer.
He's a very ambitious or self-taught type of a guy too. He's pretty creative. I love the studio. This is a really cool gallery. And congratulations on pulling it off. How long will you continue? Will it continue?
Oh yeah,
good.
It's been a lot of fun, and I think I don't plan to quit anytime soon.
Great. Unfortunately, we don't have time to get into one of your other spontaneous activities, which is sidecar racing. That's insane. And it's an incredible thing, but that's another interview. So Yellow runs now through June 4th. Studio E is open Fridays through Sunday 1 to 6 or by appointment. And the gallery is always open for the Georgetown Art Attack, which happens the second Saturday of the month. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
Also, don't miss the Vatican, their second teeny tiny wall-embedded gallery that's open for viewing 24/7.
I thought that this would be a project that I would do that would sort of like be this, sort of like amusing piece that was about going into business, and then it turned out to be the biggest project of my life. The backbone of our collection has been organic cotton and hemp. Prairie Underground is known for sustainable textiles. It's been a part of our mission to make sure that we do as little damage to the natural environment as possible, and also, in the course of our business. Camille and I both really work very well and with a design vernacular of a limited amount of options. We like to set up a small set of textiles to work in and then create any number of things based on those limitations. Everyone who works here is a creator or a maker in a different way. We have performers here, we have curators here, we have people who hold multiple jobs. I think we have an environment that is attractive to artists. Most of the women who are attracted to our collection work in the arts in any number of ways, so by advertising our investment in new art production, we feel that we're communicating a language about who we are and what we share with them. The Artist Series began in 2014, and it was developed to give back to art and actually support artistic creation. I had a desire to work with a local photographer, photo by Fran, to make just standard marketing images, lookbook images for a collection that was a part of the first Artist Series collaboration. We're able to bring the artists into our space, give them a stipend to create a body of work, be that large or modest, that somehow also takes inspiration from this physical location. Megumi Shauna Arai, whose work is up in our gallery now, Escape Velocity, was a collection that was inspired by textiles in our spring 2016 collection. Georgetown felt like a city apart from Seattle, and it has little areas that sort of feel like time has stood still. We want to be a part of the Georgetown culture, and having like 3 galleries just down the street actively programming all of the time is fantastic.
Check out Prairie Underground's full line of threads at prairieunderground.com. Well, our band this week is the one and only Cracker Factory, and you're playing in a chocolate shop.
It's pretty amazing to be in a chocolate shop.
Isn't it? You could dip crackers in the chocolate.
I know, chocolate-covered crackers.
So have R.L. Heyer, and why don't you introduce your bandmates over here, starting with this man.
On bass, we have Mr. Shane Smith.
Shane.
And on drums, Denali Williams.
Beautiful smile, Denali. So you guys, I know you kind of from a little bit different areas, but you and Denali were in Cheney together.
Yeah, we went to Cheney Junior High.
And then you somehow got to Cheney some point, and you guys got together in 1998.
Yeah, I believe it was First Street Coffee House in Cheney.
Really?
Yeah.
And so it's about 20 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. So there's a couple of words I read describing your sound. Controlled, ferocious, adventurous, and my personal favorite, just so fun to listen to. Because it really is really fun, and you have a tremendous amount of humor, starting with the name of your band, Cracker Factory, which is based on what?
Well, it's based on a Simpsons reference, because Milhouse's dad worked at the Cracker Factory until he got divorced and then was forced to quit.
It's I just love that you pulled that for your band name. And also the song, which I know is the first song you're gonna play, I Know 2 Notes, right? That is just, it's a great song, and it's also extremely funny. I mean, is humor really important?
Humor's everything, really.
And the way you write and the way you...
Well, not necessarily in the way we write all our songs, but I mean, Denali likes to say, you can either laugh or cry, so you might as well laugh.
Yeah, let's do more percentage of laughing, right, than crying. Well, we're thrilled that you guys are here, really seriously delighted, and it's going to be an amazing sound in this space. And so I know the first song is I Know Two Notes, correct?
It is,
and
yes.
that's actually a best-selling track. What record is that on?
That's off of the Mouth Breather
Mouth
album,
Breather,
yeah.
okay. Well, are you ready to play two notes?
I think we're set.
What are the two notes, by the way?
Well, they're E and G.
E and G. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Cracker Factory.
I know two notes, and these are them. I sing them over and over again. I know two notes, they go like this. Notes, and these are them. I sing them over and over again. Two notes, they go like this. Two notes, and these are them. I sing them over and over again. I know two notes, they go like this. I sing them over and over again. I know two notes, they go like this. I know two notes, and these are them. I sing them over and over again. I know two notes, they go like this.
Catch Cracker Factory live at the Fisherman's Village Festival in Everett on May 21st and every Monday night at the West Seattle Brewing Company in beautiful West Seattle. And while you've got your calendars out, pick a day to walk Georgetown. Here are just a few doors to open. Kirk Albert Vintage Furnishings has an ever-changing collection of extraordinary objects, all of which have a backstory. Crab Jab Studios' Fantasy Art Core has exploded, with the majority of gallery artists sharing their print illustration, game, and digital media imagination. The Georgetown Arts and Cultural Center is packed with art and artists. More on that later. Get some coffee and a heaping helping of arts community at the new conservatory, a multi-use space for workshops, seminars, events, and all things to exercise your art brain. Make it to the Hamilton Work Studios, second floor. It's home to Bridge Productions, a project hub for art exhibitions, publications, events, collaborations, and curated box sets. Same building, a few steps up, is the new space for Interstitial, formerly Interstitial Theater, now grounded exhibits and info about curated projects around town. No art shuffle through Georgetown would be complete without a loop into Fantagraphics bookstore and gallery, All City Coffee, and Georgetown Music. Then ask someone to point you in the direction of Equinox Studios. But if that's a little too much wandering, you can package your trip by coming down any second Saturday for the Georgetown Art Attack, or make a note, the annual Georgetown Carnival is coming up June 11th. Hey, before wrapping up, I want you to meet Angelina Chamberlain, an artist and director of the Cultural Arts Center in Georgetown. This is right up the street from Fran's Chocolates.
Right across the street.
And who is this?
Savi.
Darling little Savi, who
the Wonder Dog.
Wonder Dog. We've become friends. So this building, it's another very vintage Georgetown building, and it hasn't been taken down, thank goodness. What was it, and what happens here now? There's a lot of stuff that goes on.
So it was built in 1904 as a hotel, and has been many interesting, nefarious things since then. We are not nefarious. We are an arts and cultural center. We have art studios, a gallery, event space, a photography studio, and my art studio.
And also, there's is it an Airbnb kind of a deal?
Yep,
or
I
something
have
like that?
2 rooms through Airbnb, which has been really fun. We have world travelers come and stay with us and meet the artists and engage with them, and they go home and they tell the world about us.
Well, it's a wonderful place. If you want to get a kind of a full rundown of the center's classes, events, and exhibits, go to georgetownartcenter.org. Right? Well, thank you so much for talking with us. And that is a wrap for this week. We want to give a gigantic thanks to Fran's Chocolates for letting us in the door and feeding us all day long. We got a little bit crazy. And also to all the artists here in Georgetown, you definitely want to make your plans to come down here and check it out. You will not be disappointed. So have a great week. And you want some chocolate?
Absolutely.
Chocolate. Oh la la.
Oh my goodness, I love these ones.
Right? The salted
Thanks,
caramel.
Fran. Yes.
Isn't this too crazy? That one has the veal.
Could just be something everybody's got to face. It takes a lot to still be human in the right ways. You're bound to us, we are bound to you. 'Cause when this world falls apart, we've got something that's stronger than glue. It's stronger than glue.